Today there was a lady who brought me a big ass blanket, thank goodness. She did ask about the situation with Natalie. She said that she had heard a rumor that I had dated somebody and that I more than likely killed her. Well, I've never dated anybody, so that's pretty impossible. And the person that rumor is about is Natalie Bollinger, who, by her own words, we never dated. So it's complicated, don't it? These predators spread rumors, and they believe that by spreading these rumors, it makes it okay to harm me, but it's not. And I have to deal with this everywhere I go. There was a gentleman who was reading the messages between me and Natalie today. And there's another lady who works at the Safeway who's also read them. Just like with all of the women who have read it, she said that Natalie thought she was in love with me, especially at the beginning. Right up until my birthday. Well, that would be the beginning to the end. The last time I saw Natalie Bollinger was on my birthday in 2016 at her and her sister's request. Sorry, insistence. I didn't want gifts other than the pleasure of my friend's company. Well, I should say those women with the exception of Susan, because Susan said that she was skipping over everything that I typed and just reading the stuff that Natalie typed to save time. Well, then you miss the context altogether. Now, the situation I'm dealing with is a situation with actual predators, actual physical predators, actual financial predators, and actual sexual predators. I have to deal with actual predators. With people getting to see that, they can speak up about it. But the important thing to do is to do it together. I have court on Monday for calling 911. And mind you, I didn't say nice things to the 911 lady. However, I shouldn't be expected to, given the way that they treated the situation and my safety issues. At the very beginning, those safety issues were something that are easy to contend with. But by the time I make a friend, I've already been victimized by the police over a dozen times in any location. And hopefully we'll be able to turn some of this stuff in. Well, the thing is, it all needs to be turned in, and I'm not able to process any of it. There's just too much. Before Natalie was killed, it would have been easy if somebody would have showed me just something as simple as a goddamn screenshot. Then, instead of Natalie Bollinger having to listen to Tim Beeson while he gets a hold of me and harasses me and threatens me over and over again, This is the guy who was going to blow his head off because she wouldn't touch his penis. This is the asshole that she literally moved out of Colorado to get the fuck away from. So while he's getting a hold of me and threatening to kill my friends and family, he's busy telling Natalie Bollinger, oh, he's a horrible person. He's going to rape you. He's going to kill you. He's going to this. How the fuck was she supposed to react to all of these predators? Her predators. Trying to pretend I'm some sort of a monster. Meanwhile, the things that they wanted to pretend that I might do, they all had experience doing these things to her. I was literally the only real friend Natalie Bollinger ever had. However, she was not a real friend to me. And when her predators came after me, she didn't give a shit. Now, unlike all of you idiots, Natalie Bollinger was actually a reasonable human being. And if I'd have had the ability to take a screenshot before Natalie was killed, I could have put a stop to all of it just by sending her a screenshot of what Tim Beeson was fucking doing. The problem is, Tim Beeson had the drugs. And she was addicted to the drugs. And so she went back into that druggy lifestyle. She also learned that she could get a lot of attention out of the situation. And of course that made her sister Alicia jealous. Natalie had always given way for her sister. Whenever her sister wanted something, Natalie would back off. What are the chances that Natalie and Alicia Bollinger were fighting over me? Well, Natalie admitted that she thought she was in love with me more than once. And her sister did not treat me very different. Well, Alicia Bollinger basically capitalized on all of our time. See, I went to Virginia because my friend not only said that she would kill herself if I wasn't already on the road, she actually tried to kill herself. Because I wasn't already on the road. And she cited her family as her reason for wanting her life to end. And guess what? That's the same thing that she cited as her reason for wanting her life to end at the very end of her life as well. Her family. The same family that you would believe literally anything that they said. The same family that you came at me and continue to harm me to this day over. Natalie's predators became my predators. The people who victimized her chose to victimize me. And then we get to hear the rumors. What these pieces of shit did is immoral as all fuck. But none of you give a shit because it's not happening to you. When it comes to corruption, I'm no stranger to it. When it comes to the KKK, I'm no stranger to it. Well, I'm told by a bunch of minorities that I'm so lucky that I'm white. I get treated by a lot of these white people like I'm less than human because I look Jewish, or because I'm short, because I'm bald. You guys are allowed to do this to me, but how dare I say those things back, or I'm evil, correct? When people threaten me and threaten my family and assault me, you want me to just ignore it. But when I ask what you'd do if people did this to you and your family, the first thing you jump to is violence. When it comes to stopping this oppression, we're not talking about make-believe oppression. We're talking about real oppression. The kind that you have to be broke to endure. The type that you have to be homeless to endure. The type of oppression that we have to endure is because the media and the police spend so much time hating on us, blaming us for all of your problems, problems that you created for us, by caring less about human beings than you do about money. Natalie Bollinger, at the end of her life, tried to believe in the Jesus. What did it get her? Let's take a look at the Christians that I know. How many of them showed that they actually believe in Jesus? And how many of them showed that it's just a matter of manipulation? Natalie Bollinger and her family lied in Virginia in 2016. And because they lied, I've had to take abuse this entire time. People know that they can take advantage of me and nobody gives a shit. They know that they can harass me and nobody gives a shit. They know they can assault me and nobody gives a shit. It's disgusting. Meanwhile, these resources that you pretend are out here for disabled and at-risk adults, they don't fucking exist. They're used as an excuse to harm us. You try to turn in a bad cop. They make you turn in that bad cop to himself. That officer isn't going to let you turn him into himself. He's going to retaliate against you by either bullying you, arresting you, or taking you to a mental hospital, or just a regular hospital, and claiming that you're schizophrenic and trying to kill yourself. On the bright side, I've recorded this. Unfortunately, the courts across the United States take advantage of at-risk adults, especially if they're homeless. It's called being a roll-through. Once they've got that mentally ill tag on you, you're automatically guilty of anything that they claim that you're guilty of, and nobody's going to bother looking at the fucking evidence. Your public pretenders are going to try to bully you into taking a plea deal. Fuck this goddamn country and anybody who supports this shit. When you say there's nothing you can do about it, You're showing why it is that you can't do anything about it. You've already decided. You're already making excuses. I only break the law when it's absolutely necessary for the preservation of human life. But you can be goddamn sure that I'm not going to change. And the reason for that is because you're not going to change. You have to have someone to blame your problems on. You have to have someone lower on the totem pole to shit on. God bless America and all that. When it comes to the law, when you did something wrong legally, you jump for the Bible, don't you? Well, you can't judge me, only God can judge me. This threatened to kill me and my friends and family. Excuse me, says I, but I can most certainly judge you back. That's called fair and equal treatment. You don't like equality? Well, that's on you. Nobody forced y'all to be shitty to me. But you did force me to defend myself against actual monstrous human beings. You forced me to protect myself from child molesters, from rapists, from murderers, and from crooked goddamn cops. Then you get angry at me for speaking out. How dare I speak out? All cops are perfect Boy Scouts and so on, aren't they? Isn't that the narrative you try to sell me? Well, it ain't true, and we get to see that time and again. Many of the people that I've told about the crimes committed by the cops, they say ignorant shit like, well, they can't do that. Yeah, sure they can't. That's like saying that your dad can't rape you. No, he can. It's illegal. But obviously, just because it's illegal doesn't mean that your dad's going to stop. Just because it's illegal for a felon to have a firearm, well, that doesn't stop Ted Bollinger from having a firearm, does it? Ted Bollinger got busted with an illegal firearm after Natalie was killed. This is a man who is at least a 7-time felon. Guess who it is that doesn't have any felonies on their record? That's right, Sean David Schwartz. The police didn't want to do their job. They were too busy trying to frame me for crimes I didn't commit. And they were too busy trying to frame me as a fucking schizophrenic. Because somehow that alleviates the fact that they refused to do their job and it resulted in dead people. Not just one. Many. Meanwhile, they send us around in circles and it's nobody's job to investigate the crimes against me. Somehow magically. I still take abuse, and your excuses are all the same. You believe that me being harmed is okay because it's not happening to you. Somebody says mentally ill, and automatically my guilt must be sealed in stone. No, that's classic gaslighting. It's immoral. And it's also illegal for police to take part in such a thing. When you say they can't, you're selling yourself a goddamn lie because you're an idiot. They can, they will, and they do. Every single day, Hospitals and police across America victimize innocent people and get away with it by calling them mentally ill. If you're okay with this, then you deserve this kind of treatment. On the bright side, it's never about popularity to me. Ever. It was never about popularity. It was about doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. I have to worry about them youngins pulling more bullshit. I got to worry about Wonez pulling more bullshit. Hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to call this into the DOJ. I also got to call a number in Warrenton about abuse there. This isn't okay. Also, to whoever did try to call it in, thank you. Thank you very much. The real issue is being able to get someone that can go in with me. There's a lot of people that wanted to help, but were not able to because of their own health issues, their own safety issues, their own fears of the police. There's also the fact that these officers repeatedly sent me in the wrong places, the wrong direction, over and over again. When my so-called friends were asking me, who do I turn it into? The best answer I could give them is, I don't know. They're running me around in circles. Why don't you make the calls with me instead of arguing? Because that's all they wanted to do, is argue. With Natalie Bollinger, if I'd have been able to take a screenshot of what Tim Beeson was doing, there is no doubt in my mind that Nat Bollinger would have put a stop to it immediately. But for over a year, before Natalie was killed, I went to therapist after therapist and friend after friend. And my so-called friends were too busy getting fucked up on drugs, selling drugs, getting drunk, or playing fucking games. He talking over me. People like Joanna Taylor Smith, Derek Parrish, Veronica Seward, Mark Swanigan, Jamie Curtis. These are all people that I went to about the abuse before Natalie was killed. These are all people that gave me horrible advice. And these are all people who hid like rats when Natalie was killed. Over half of those people have predators of their own that they protected. Why is it the victims protect their actual predators? There's a woman here in town who told me that she was raped by her drug dealer, and she still goes back to her drug dealer. Why is it that she still goes back to her drug dealer? Because he has the drugs and because she's a drug addict. Imagine being sent to a church that's supposed to feed the homeless, and you're supposed to be safe there. But you get there and you're victimized by people, and nobody at the church gives a shit. Now imagine people keep sending you back to that same exact church, claiming that the people there will help you. And you go there and all they do is talk over you, talk in circles, and try to reword everything that you said. Just like 911 operators do when you're trying to turn in bad cops. Or they make it a fucking head game. These agencies repeatedly lied to people who claimed that they were trying to help turn this in. Now, none of these people have any evidence of what they're claiming, but guess what? I did. I recorded the police saying the same things to me that these people were claiming the cops were telling them. And the cops just kept changing the rules over and over again. Saying things like, you can't turn in a report for someone else. Hey, that's rewording something into something it ain't. When a witness tries to make a report about something, they're not making a report for somebody else. They're giving you an eyewitness account. But the police repeatedly refuse to do that. And I've got over a dozen people recorded on my channel saying that they tried going to the cops and the cops wouldn't listen. That the cops blew them off. Or the cops told them that they're not allowed to make a report for somebody else. Or that they had gone to the wrong jurisdiction. Meanwhile, police worked across multiple jurisdictions to do these things. They didn't care about jurisdiction. They abused jurisdiction to commit felonies and to get other officers involved in committing felonies along with them. Which is what makes it conspiracy, and we're not talking alien conspiracies here. I'm not blaming this shit on the Illuminati. I'm not blaming it on psycho circus clowns. I'm not blaming it on alien butt probes or CIA brainwave rays. I'm not blaming this on Santa Claus, the Keister Bunny, Jesus, or Satan. All of these people who committed horrible atrocities against me, all of them have very human excuses for what they did. Some of them because they didn't want to lose their jobs. Some of them because they didn't want to lose friends. Some of them because they're afraid of the police. Some because they're afraid of the Bollingers. There are repercussions in life no matter what you do. But there are no repercussions greater than doing nothing. The man who was reading the messages between me and Natalie Bollinger today, from when she was still alive, he only made it to June. When he told me what his emotional response was, because I went across the street, had to get a piece of paper to write on. When I got back, he was only able to read part of it before he started having an emotional response. It's one thing to hear the story. It's another thing entirely to see the evidence of exactly how real it actually is. It's one thing to pretend that I'm a delusional schizophrenic who's making up this abuse. It's another entirely when you read the messages between me and Natalie Bollinger, me and Tim Beeson. God damn it! Leave me the fuck alone! Fucking pieces of shit. See, again. Fucking pieces of shit. Threw another goddamn cup of stuff against my vehicle. Little bastards. Fucking pleasant, ain't it? Every goddamn night. Every goddamn night. But it's okay because it's not happening to you. Fucking skeezy little goddamn trash monsters. No, whatever the fuck they threw at me, I'm not seeing it. I'm fucking sick of this shit. Every goddamn night. So what am I supposed to do when people are doing this shit to me? Well, I've been instructed by the people at Safeway to go into Safeway for my safety. At least they don't harm me inside of the Safeway is kind of the thought behind that. You fucking shitheads. Oh, now I'm dropping things. That's not where I meant to put that. Whatever it is, I'm sure I'll see it first thing in the morning. Motherfuckers. Of course, I'll get treated like I made everything up. Oh no, nothing hit my vehicle. That sound was imaginary, right? Fucking hell. So what am I gonna do? Electronics here. I'm gonna message this guy that I'm supposed to message. Let him know that they're still throwing shit at me. Ain't that what we're supposed to do? Get a hold of our friends and family when we're abused? Most of them just victimize the shit out of us or blow us off, talk over us. It's one thing to pretend like somebody is some sort of a monster. It's another thing entirely when you see the evidence. Almost everybody who's taken an actual look at any of this evidence has said, you know what, Sean, I'd do the same thing if I were you. I typed to him, someone else just threw something at my car. Not that I have a lot of experience with things bouncing off my car, but that sounded to me like a half full soda bottle. It sounded different from those cuffs that they hit the back of my car with yesterday. Yesterday when they hit me with them Dutch Brothers coffee cups, they were the cold brew cups. They had ice in them, and I was afraid that they had broken my rear window. I'm glad that they didn't. But this shit needs to fucking stop. Alright, I got 50% battery on this phone. And when I'm recording with, I have, let's see, probably like 37%, 54%. Alright, so we got a decent quantity. Anyway, I gotta use the bathroom, and there's also the fact that I was told to go over to the Safeway and go inside when people are doing this. I'm sick of it. Who wouldn't be? To be made out to be some sort of a horrible monster. To be bullied over and over and over again. Harassed, threatened, and assaulted. Some of you don't understand how little of a problem Andrew Wolnez is. Or how little of a problem them racist shitheads are. Those are little problems, but they're little problems that keep me from doing the things that I need to. Just like, well, all of these people and places that government tax dollars go to that are supposed to help us. Are they going to help us, or are they going to fleece the American taxpayer? When we're being abused, are they going to focus on the abuse? Or are they going to focus on having you come back time and again so that they can rip off the American government and the American people for tax dollars for services that are not needed. Therapists are for when you don't have real problems. If you don't have real problems, then yes, a therapist can fix your shit. If you have actual, real problems, well, that therapist isn't going to do a goddamn bit of good. You're just going to waste your time. When you have real problems, you do need the cops to do their fucking jobs. But are they going to? That depends on whether or not you're considered a human being by the American public. And they spend a lot of time and a lot of money telling you that the homeless are the problem. The disabled people are the problem. They call you mentally ill, and all of a sudden it's your fault that you were victimized. You get raped, now you got PTSD. But that's not what your predator says. Your predator says, oh, she's mentally ill. The guy who raped you calls you mentally ill and then gets away with raping you because, according to the courts, that means that you're violent and dangerous, that you're schizophrenic, that you made everything up, and that's where saving the evidence works out. But only if people look. If they're not willing to look, you just have to take the abuse over and over again. I'm tired of seeing my female friends sliced to ribbons because daddy couldn't keep his nasty cock beaters to himself and mama wouldn't listen. But that pales in comparison with the loss of the boys. When this happens to a boy, there is no out. There is no end to it. There is no stop. There is no assistance. There's a bunch of people telling you that you need to do it yourself. A bunch of people who want special treatment if they feel like you might do something. When people actually do those things to you and you're called mentally ill, nobody listens. They don't care. As long as it's not happening to them. When they waste your time, waste your money, and then go out of their way to pretend like you deserve it because you spoke up about them doing so. That's the reality of the world we live in. And I didn't make those people throw stuff at my vehicle. And I didn't make them throw stuff in my vehicle last night either. But it must be my fault because I have male genitalia, right? Because I'm a male, I must be a predator. Because I'm homeless, I must be a junkie. Because I'm disabled, I must be mentally ill. And thus, it's okay to harm me whenever you want. It's at least reality. You don't have to agree with it for it to be true. Woohoo, Charlie and Tiffany. Now, there's a lot of drug addicts in this town. They're all over the place. But we got a problem with y'all just assuming that because somebody's homeless, they must be a junkie. Because somebody's a man, they must be a rapist. Because somebody's short, they must be a creep. This is just insanity. It don't make any sense. Anyway, I found half of a tobacco. It's a menthol, but I'm glad to have it. I should probably save it for after I go to the bathroom. But I really want a cigarette, and I think I can hold it in having to go pee for about 5 minutes. So I'm going to try that. When it comes to actual predators like Andrew Wolnez, what am I supposed to do? So we got the cops running around telling people I'm wanted for murder in Colorado. I'm not. I've never been wanted for murder. Do you know why? Because I've never murdered anybody. So then when that doesn't work, you pretend like I must be a chimo or a rapist. And that magically makes it okay. And then you find out that I've never been in trouble for either of those things either. Like, do you ever get tired of making excuses to harm people? I'm in Oregon now. There are literally more sex offenders per capita here. People do you know that'll protect you from predators? How many people do you know that'll actually speak up? How many people can you hide behind when your predator comes after you? You all know who predators go after. Whoever they think they can get away with doing it to. People are less likely to listen to you. People listen a lot better to those that they're attracted to. The more attracted you are to somebody, the more likely it is that you are going to listen to their words. If the person is good looking enough, you might even hang on to every single word that comes out of their mouth as if it's gospel. Etched it in stone, handed it to Moses. Go give this to the people. It's just insanity. When it comes to stopping predators, the first thing we need to do is stop calling the victims mentally ill as an excuse to harm them. When somebody wants their life to end over abuse, it's probably a good idea to do something about the abuse instead of going out of your way to try to discredit the victim. See, if you want your life to end over abuse, over bullying, then you're the bad guy. Well, then there's other people that are held responsible, aren't there? If I was to end my life today, every officer in Tillamook would be legally responsible. But not just every officer in Tillamook. Every person who bullied me would be held, well, they wouldn't be held, but legally they would be responsible. You just don't care because I'm not Yeti. Oh well. You also comments because of my gender. When you call somebody mentally ill, there are certain rights that go along with that. When somebody is physically disabled, there are certain go along with that. And what we got going on is people ignoring those rights. They want to use the label to detract from my ability to be heard. They want to use the label. But then, of course, they ignore. Sorry about the connection issues. When it comes to discrediting the victim, then magically I'm disabled. When it comes to me complaining about that treatment, well, then magically I'm not disabled. Magically, they never did anything wrong. They never tried to use the mentally ill tag to discredit me. I've got 3 people here just at the Safeway location who have looked at evidence. Actual evidence of the situation. Anyway, there's somebody I want to talk to because she's nice to me. So you know how we end these videos. Good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and your sister's too. And no victim left behind.